Greetings and welcome back. I'm the Angrynator, and today it is finally time to view another live action movie. Last time I did this was in, I believe, season 1, that being Home Alone 4. That piece of ass shit. So what better way to start this trend again than to watch DBE, more commonly known as Dragon Ball shit. I mean Evolution.
Yes, Dragon Ball Evolution was a movie created by Americans to try and bring Dragon Ball to the West. And by that I of course mean westernize it, not actually present it to the West, since that was already done with the hit anime. Dragon Ball Evolution was made back in 2009 and received a worse reception than movies such as League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Batman Forever. Maybe even as bad as Batman and Robin, if not worse. The movie had a whopping budget of $30 million, which in hindsight might not be the biggest of budgets, but for what they did with it, it sure was too much.
Sure, stuff like locations, singers and actors takes a huge chunk out of this. But still? Anyway, in order to not be a complete fool, I actually decided to watch the Dragon Ball series before watching this movie. Dragon Ball Kai, that is. Yeah, you can all hate me later. Now it's time to watch Dragon Ball Evolution.
It starts out innocently enough by the more than overused cliche of an evil force being trapped a long time ago.
Powerful enchantment that imprisoned Piccolo deep within the earth.
Apparently King Piccolo is reigning supreme by the help of some guy or an evil being named Osaru.
Aided by his disciple Osaru.
Well, I don't know who that is, nor what he actually has to do with Dragon Ball. But I'm guessing it's not that relevant since the ancient monks actually captured him.
So we then cut to, I guess, a few thousand years later. We see Goku, played by Justin Chatwin, training with his grandfather, played by Randall Duck Kim.
Now wait just a minute. In the original Dragon Ball, which I both saw and read, Goku's grandfather was already dead before it started. Huh. Guess they missed that part. Well, it can happen for anyone.
They brawl it out on top of these poles, probably thinking they are in some sort of Chinese kung fu movie. Well, that is until Gohan swallows a bug.
Well, I heard about bug bites, but this is ridiculous.
But right after, Gohan uses the Ki Blast and destroys Goku. In the training session, of course, claiming and stating that there's only one rule, and that is no rule.
And look, we could sit here all day and make the gag about no rules are technically a rule and so on and so forth. But instead, let's move on.
Which thankfully the movie does as well. We cut to a Japanese small village where we get our first look at Mai, played by Eriko Tamura, and Piccolo, played by James Masters.
And honestly, at first look, I had no idea that this was supposed to be Mai. But then again, she used to work for the Red Ribbon Army under Lord Pilafy, and only later began working for King Piccolo. So I guess that Pilafy and Chu just didn't make the cut?
Well, lore inconsistency aside, we now cut back to Goku, who's at high school.
Because apparently every comic book made into a live-action movie has to include it in some way or another. Just look at Spider-Man or Transformers.
Anyway, here we got the first major spoiler of fuck you, we don't know the story.
I mean, the backstory of the universe of Dragon Ball.
What might our ancestors say about the upcoming solar eclipse?
Well, my grandfather would say beware of the Nemeks.
Nemeks?
Yeah, they're an alien race that nearly destroyed Earth over 2,000 years ago.
So not only do we know they are from the planet Namek, we also know that all of them are apparently pure evil. And let me guess, there are no mention of the Saiyajin anywhere in the movie? Well, fuck you then. What else can you destroy?
Well, how about Chi-Chi, the hot chick in school who's apparently dating the bully who's annoying Goku?
Make me pay Giko. Come on. Come on, Giko. Right here. Come on, baby.
So Goku is apparently a nerd in this one. Yeah, right. He probably reads manga too, right? What a nerd.
Anyway, they have a bit of weird talk about Ki and then on to the next scene, which is Goku's birthday party.
Goku, happy birthday!
You know, I just have to say this. Gohan, he laughs too much. Why? Did the director just stand there and one day got the brilliant idea that, you know what, love, that will make for an entertaining scene?
But of course, Goku decides to spend his birthday chasing Chi-Chi, and also coincidentally decides to show off by beating the bullies without touching them.
Doing good.
And I just have to say, thank goodness Marvel didn't make this movie, because if they did, he would have been called a mutant or a menace to society. But since it isn't, it's good.
Meanwhile they do that, Gohan is assaulted by Mai and Piccolo, and of course Piccolo uses the Force, Chi, to destroy the house in search of the Dragon Ball.
Piccolo. It's not here. I will have the Dragon Ball, old man.
Oh sure, the Dragon Ball! You know, I actually completely forgot they existed. Let me guess, instead of granting wishes, they make puppies cry?
No, actually they work quite like the original story, surprisingly enough.
Since, you know, Goku never defeated Pilafin nor the Red Ribbon Army, and yet Mai works for Piccolo. He never went to school, and yet this feels an awful lot like the Buu saga where Son Gohan, his son, more or less encountered this. Oh, and also before I forget, Piccolo used the Force from Star Wars. Yeah, let's look at the Force from Star Wars.
Find the rebels' hidden fort.
And this is a Ki blast from Dragon Ball. And this is Captain Falcon. You see the difference?
Anyway, Goku senses something is wrong and therefore rushes home, where he then stumbles upon a high school musical reject named Bulma, played by Emi Rosa, mostly known for her various short films featuring her name in the title.
No, of course I'm kidding. She's mostly known for this, sadly enough for her, and The Day After Tomorrow. Although she did make an awful lot of short films with her name in the title.
Bulma here is on her quest for the Dragon Balls in order to get a lifetime supply of strawberries, or was it a perfect boyfriend?
Well, she ended up with a crazed power-hungry fool, so that wish certainly didn't come true, am I right, Vegeta fans? It's a joke. Don't take it so seriously.
Anyway, in this version, she wants to find the Dragon Balls in order to avenge her father, which died to Piccolo. I believe they breezed through this rather quickly. Anyway, she found Goku and his place by using a DBE radar.
Dragon Ball Energy, DBE. Catchy name.
Oh, shit, I apparently invented that word in this universe.
They venture forward to find Master Roshi, more commonly known as Kame Sennin, or Muten Roshi if we want to get technical.
So they of course travel to a secluded island in the middle of nowhere with a purple-like house on it, with the writing Kame House. Or they travel to Shanghai. Sure, that's where Kame Sennin would be.
They travel to an old-style New York house in the middle of a lake in the city, and here they meet this more than, I believe, drunk person who has no significance to the story.
Other than that drunken bastard is indeed Muten Roshi. Really? That is Kame Sennin? Great! Okay! Whoop-de-doo-da!
Anyway, he apparently also has a Dragon Ball, and the three of them, after dumb fighting, finally Goku realizes he is in the wrong movie and decides to learn airbending.
Because that is what it looks like. Avatar Aang is indeed Grandfather Gohan, which actually would explain his more than cheerful mood. Who would have thought that the Dragon Ball movie was a better representation of Avatar than the fucking Avatar movie?
But the effects were decent.
So they decide to travel together with some rather unimpressive travel scenes.
Yeah, I guess this is supposed to symbolize them bonding, but it looks more like... oh, I don't know, shit.
Finally, they stumble upon the shooting of Mortal Kombat and then decide to leave, since that movie might in fact be shittier than theirs. They then meet Yamcha, who looks like
It's rather hard to explain. It's sort of a mixture of someone you really don't want to meet and a surfer, I believe. It's rather hard to a douchebag. That's the word, douchebag.
So unlike the actual Dragon Ball series, Yamcha is not blown away by Bulma's charms. He is instead being blown away by her promise of riches.
I'm gonna need some payment.
Payment?
That's not insulting to the source material in the least, right? I mean, how did Yamcha react in the original show?
And this one...
If that TV thing is right, the ball you're looking for is right here.
They're completely alike, am I right?
We then cut to a volcano, which I have no clue what's happening. Apparently, Piccolo uses Cell's ability to clone himself and attack Goku and his friends. I know that both Piccolo and other characters has used this technique on various occasions, especially during the tournaments. But this feels more artificial with vials and cloning chambers and all that. It feels more like robotic. You see where I'm going with this? Anyway, Goku figures out instead of using airbending to get across this lava pool, he creates more clones by cutting them in half and then pushes them into the lava to create jumping stones. Which then makes it possible to... you know... it's so shitty, let's just move on. We then cut to Chi-Chi's tournament. Apparently that was the Mortal Kombat part, and she's happy that Goku's there since... I don't know. We then skip ahead to Goku's Kamehameha training.
The final level of airbending technique is the Kamehameha,
which apparently both Gohan and Muten Roshi knew about. So how did it go in the original story with Goku trying this? Pretty good, pretty funny. Shows you the potential of the young Saiyajin, and it also shows a sorta decent, if not better, shonen manga. Now, how about this one?
Oh! Focus it. Then release.
Okay, so many things wrong with this. First of all, that's not the famous signature move at all. Second, it's the wrong color. Orange Kamehameha? Really? Third, Goku doesn't know this instantly despite the original source material showing us that he in fact could. And fourth, that is the wrong stance. How of all things can you muck that up?
Seriously, it's the easiest one of all. Combine your hands, then slowly move them towards one of your hips, and then blast.
Seriously, how can I muck that up?
Anyway, it seems as stated, he can't figure it out, but luckily for Goku, Chi-Chi comes in to offer herself as a prize if he can do it.
You're 5 paces away from me. Every time you light a torch, you get to take 1 step closer to me.
Oh yeah, Goku really likes Chi-Chi in this one, even though in the original he thought that marriage was a sort of food. And furthermore, he refused to touch Bulma for the Dragon Ball, so yeah. This is in fact a big slap in the face to the original Goku.
Anyway, moving on, it seems that Chi-Chi was deceiving Goku, and it was indeed Mai who apparently stole some of Chi-Chi's blood to make a disguise to infiltrate the temple to get the remaining Dragon Balls. Or some stupid shit like that.
For a knockoff Dragon Ball show? It sure doesn't make a lot of sense. Less in the original manga.
We then cut to, I believe, Roshi, who now finished the Ba Sing Se ritual.
The Mafuba?
Oh, I'm sorry, the Mafuba. Honestly, I thought they would have completely forgotten that part.
But it turns out that Piccolo is about to release Osaru upon the world.
I don't think Goku's there anymore.
Oh, Osaru. Gee, of course it's him. Osaru is Osaru. Seriously, how did I miss that? Gee, man, if you can't pronounce it correctly, just say Great Ape like any other English stuff fan.
Anyway, it seems that Osaru is indeed the great ape we all thought he would be.
Or he's about 2 feet taller than usual. Seriously, did they read Dragon Ball, the light novel intended for small kids?
Apparently the Mafuba fails and Goku or Osaru kills off Muten Roshi, and Mai beats up Bulma as well as Yamcha.
So in this version they don't cut the tail, nor was it actually Goku who killed his own grandfather due to, the Great Ape and Piccolo beat him to it and stuff. Man, this is a jumbled mess.
No, instead Goku finds inner peace by remembering his grandfather's words.
Something my grandfather taught me. First rule is, there are no rules.
Oh, I thought it would be something like, you know, in order to find true power, you have to forgive or make peace with your enemy. But no, it's just that old there are no rule thing.
Also, let's take a look and analyze this scene for a bit. First, we see Osaru, then we cut to half a second of Goku, then Roshi, then Osaru, then a teardrop from Goku, then the whole transformation part.
You have to make every move your own.
Which might be some of the worst, and I'm dead serious here, some of the worst camera angles and editing I have ever seen. Heck, it's even worse than mine, and they had 30 millions to back them up, I do not.
Anyway, we then have the final battle of Piccolo and Goku, and if you thought that the previous key battles and even the Kamehameha was unimpressive,
well then you haven't seen shit. Just look. Wow. Unimpressive to the very last moment. But wait, it is indeed not over. They have to bring Roshi back to life.
Dragon! The test of 7 has been fulfilled!
Dude, those acting skills really paid off, didn't they? Seriously, the kids in The Last Airbender put more effort into it.
and Roshi is now back to life. Goku marries Chi-Chi and the movie ends with Piccolo maybe returning.
Since every movie in the 2000 had to end on a cliffhanger. You know, sequel material.
Well, that was Dragon Ball Devolution, and that would have made the movie okay to say that the movie devolved from the Dragon Ball universe. Now, would that make it a good movie? No. It would still be shit, but at least they would have advertised it as shit as well. The actors does a poor job. For them, it might just be a toddler movie where good acting goes to die. None of these people are going to use this movie in their resume, and why would they? The directing, the camera angles, even the CG is quite terrible. The story is a jumbled mess. It feels more like they took bits and pieces of the Dragon Ball, as in they took every tense image of the manga and said, yeah, here's the movie. Now, a complete recreation of the actual story might not have been the best idea either, since why watch it then? You already know everything. Usually when turning different medias into movies, especially comics, you usually have to take some liberty, since some things just doesn't translate well to the big screen. Batman is a great example of this, where they took liberties where needed while still staying true to the original source material. And I'm talking about both The Dark Knight and Tim Burton's Batman. This movie barely even knows what the source material is. It's not even funny as in how bad it is. It's more boring bad than anything else.
So that was Dragon Ball Devolution. What a piece of shit. I'm the Angrynator, terminating bad movies for your entertainment.